put a battery into Anne Marie's back, go after Sutton, go after Crystal. And it didn't work. It was a flop. I agree, Amy Rhodes, 100%. She said, I'm convinced it was supposed to be a Sutton takedown this year, but it backfired. Exactly. It actually became Sutton's year because Sutton had the Spain trip and everything. We're going to get to Sutton in a little bit, but I agree 100%. So with that, you guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So let's move on to Kyle versus Sutton. So this has been the feud of the entire season. They have been feuding for that HBIC spot on the show. As we all believe, at least I believe, Sutton clearly won that. This was basically Kyle's takedown season instead of Sutton's takedown season. I think that Garcelle solidified herself as the anchor of the show. By that, I mean the relationships now are flowing through Garcelle. Garcelle and Sutton are so close. Garcelle and Erica now have a really good friendship. Garcelle and Crystal have pretty much always been cool. Anne Marie is a non-factor. Garcelle going against Dorit, and Dorit is the one looking bad. So Garcelle is really solidified as the anchor of the show, but I think that Sutton is the HBIC of the show. You know what I mean? She's really taking over as that girl on the show, and I think Kyle is pissed about that. I also think Kyle is pissed that Sutton chose Kathy's side last season. Oh, she was like, Sutton just wants to be friends with Kathy because Kathy has all the parties and blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, I mean, no tea, no shade, but I would prefer to be friends with Kathy Hilton if I had to decide. Who wouldn't? Come on, girl. Come on. And Sutton knew Kathy before she knew you. So I think that there's been a big fight over power dynamics. I think that's really the crux of the issue between these two women. It is a power play on each woman's side. Sutton is going for that I'm the HBIC diamond, and Kyle is clinging on to being the HBIC diamond. I don't mean fan favorite, I don't mean fan favorite. I mean like the HBIC in strategy and gathering the girls and hosting the trips. Like Sutton was the one who hosted the trip this season, and a lot of everything revolved around Sutton this season, right? Because, Kyle really has held that position. Doesn't mean she's been a fan favorite, but she has held that position, She's been Andy's favorite and the executive's favorite, so she has held that position. So let's get into it a little bit more. So this is from Reality Blurb. It says Sutton Stracke is clapping back at Kyle Richards for noting that she had never mentioned Merce Cunningham before the trip and suggesting she used his ash spreading as an excuse to go to Spain on last week's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show. During an appearance on Watch What Happens Live on Wednesday, Sutton spoke of her friendship with Kyle, reacted to Anne Marie Wiley being called out by the American Society of Anesthesiologists, and labeled Erica Jane's letting go moment as awkward, while also sharing her thoughts on Crystal Carmichael's apology to Erica and shading Kyle's claims about Merce. I'm going to get into what she said, and then again, I'm going to tell you why Kyle has lost it. Kyle is risking it all right now, but we'll get into that. She goes, I think it's part of the curse for Kyle with me, Sutton replied on the February 7th episode. But I wanted to say that I had an opportunity. My very good friend Trevor lives in Barcelona. So when we talked this trip with production, I said, my really good friend lives in Barcelona. And then I've been holding on to Merce's ashes, not knowing what to do with them. Board members were like, oh, I'm at the scene. I'm here at the Lincoln Center. And I'm like, I could put him in my backyard. That doesn't seem very romantic. It was also a very altruistic moment for me. So it was not a reason to do it. I wouldn't do it. I'm not like that, Sutton clarified. So basically Sutton was like, look, I was talking to production about hosting the trip. I had some friends in Spain. I had some ashes I needed to throw. It was a perfect opportunity. On Watch What Happens Live after show, Sutton was asked about ASA's diss against Anne Marie and where they stand today. Okay, before I get into Sutton and Anne Marie, Kyle really is trying to risk it all. I said it earlier in the video, but it bears repeating. Kyle, this is the third time Kyle is basically saying this show is fake. I don't know if she's doing it on purpose. I don't know if she's doing it subconsciously. I don't know. But this is the third time Kyle has publicly basically said the show is fake. The first time was when she was on Jeff Lewis Live. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. Was on Jeff Lewis Live when she basically said, I don't really know these hosts. We don't interact or know anything about each other's lives. You know, I see them when I'm filming, and when we're not filming, I don't really see them like that. Okay. So she made it very clear. These are my coworkers. These are not my friends. I don't care if we pretend to be friends on the show. We're not. I don't know these people. Right? Second time, also on Jeff Lewis Live After Show, she said, I only met Anna Marie once. I don't know that chick. I met her. Her husband was nice. She was quiet. And I said, hey, she lives around the block. Let's bring her on the show. I thought Kyle and Anne Marie were friends. And that's why she brought Anne Marie on the show. Because the show is supposed to be about friends, right? And bringing your friends on the show. Kyle was like, I don't know this chick. I met her once at a party. Okay. Now, third time, she's basically telling us the show is fake. Ugh, I never heard of Merce. I never talked about Merce. She just needed an excuse to go on a trip. Well, I thought the show was supposed to be real, about their real lives and all of this stuff. Kyle basically said she just needed a reason to go to Spain to host the girls' trip. And so she lied and brought up Merce, that he's so close, as an excuse. So that was basically trying to expose Sutton Merce Ash's storyline as fake and as a lie. And just being like, yeah, she needed just a reason. I think she said this on the after show with Erica Jane. So Kyle has said multiple times now, the show is fake. We're not friends. I don't know these people. And everybody's lying to make up storylines to have events and to have reasons to do stuff. Kyle is unhinged. She is wild. She's out here doing the absolute most. She's unhinged. Unhinged. Like, when you're doing press, which is what Jeff Lewis Live technically is, it's press, you're supposed to pretend that the show is real, Kyle. When you're doing the after show, and again, I don't know who allowed this edit in, you're supposed to pretend that the show is real, Kyle. You're supposed to at least pretend. But Kyle is out here risking it all and being like, I don't know these chicks, and they're all lying. So, whatever. All right, now let's get to Sutton and Anna Marie. She goes, well, Anna Marie and I were not friends when we started, and I wouldn't consider her a friend today. I met her, and she kind of attacked me from the very beginning. So, yay, for whatever that association is that got her, but I'm not a part of that war, she explained. Sorry if I'm butchering her Southern accent. I don't want to be a part of any of that. It's just me and my esophagus here, people. We talk daily, and my esophagus and I want to stay out of it. We're good. Back on the live broadcast, a fan questioned Sutton about Kyle's potential apology to her, noting that she had said she was sorry for not being a better friend to Kyle during their visit to a chapel. I don't think that I'm looking for an apology. For me, it was just about apologizing to her because I don't think that I was a good friend and I don't need an apology, Sutton shared. Then, when asked about Kyle not being ready to talk about her marriage issues with Mauricio Umansky, Sutton admitted she expected more. I wish that Kyle would have been more open with us. I think personally, I was very open with a lot of my feelings this season, and I kind of expected her to be more open with all of us, she noted. During Wednesday's episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Erica was seen calling out the group for their lack of support amid her legal drama. I'm going to skip this part because we're going to get more into it on Erica's section. So there's all that. But that's basically the nuts and bolts of the feud between Kyle and Sutton. So I'm very, very interested to see at the reunion a couple of things. One, does Kyle take any accountability in the demise of her friendship and relationship with Sutton? Two, I'm really curious to see the dynamic between Kathy and Sutton at the reunion, because don't forget, at the very beginning of the season, at the dinner party, Kyle, Sutton said, "You already lost 2 sisters. Do you want to lose another one or a third?" And then Kyle was like, "That was so low." And then Sutton talks about how Kathy had called her and chewed her out over not supporting her in the media and all of this stuff, and how Kathy yelled, but they got back together. So I'm very curious to see what the dynamic will be between Kathy and Sutton. Will they still be on good terms? Will it be a fake nice? Will Kathy just have Kyle's side? Is she going to come in? So I'm really curious to see what that is going to look like between them. But when it comes to Kyle versus Sutton, whose side are you on? You guys know I'm a Sutton girl. I'm a Sutton girl. So I'm team Sutton on this one. I think Sutton came in guns blazing. She's interesting. She showed up. She did her job. Kyle, I think, is just grasping at straws. And I think that Kyle is threatened that Sutton is going to snatch her HIB diamond crown. In my opinion, she snatched it. Garcelle snatched it too. Garcelle snatched it as the anchor of the show, and Sutton snatched it as the HBIC of the show. Kyle doesn't have any position on the show anymore. What position does she have? She doesn't have that power that she used to have. Seemingly, at least. But I want to know what you guys think, so put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to Kyle versus